What is up, everyone? It's me, Jrod, the filmmaker, former film major, frequent fighting gamer from Philadelphia, and happy Black History Month. And for the second year in a row, I'm going to be using the last week in February to tribute a legend of Black history. Now, last year, my video was about Dwayne McDuffie and Milestone Media. If you guys haven't checked out that video already, I have a link in the description below, as well as a card up above, so you can check it out. And that video is still one of my personal favorite videos. I mean, I really love that I got to talk about Static Shock, a show that I grew up on and loved, and also Dwayne McDuffie, the creator behind it, and all of the other wonderful things that he has created. So for this year, I knew I was going to do another Black History video, but I had to choose who I was going to do the video on. And I could have chose like Chadwick Boseman or Cicely Tyson, who both just recently passed to tragic losses. I could have chose some still living legends like Gina Prince Blythewood or Ava DuVernay, Barry Jenkins, Daniel Kaluuya, even Jennifer Lewis or something like that. But I was recently reminded of a legend who has been killing it since forever, since before I was born. What do Huey and Riley Freeman, Dr. Manhattan, James Baldwin, Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, and Jim Brown all have in common? The fact that Regina King helped bring them to screen. I wasn't kidding when I said Regina King has been killing it forever, even before I was born, with her role in 227 in the 80s. This year I got to see her directorial debut, One Night in Miami, the Amazon film adapted from Kemp Powers' play. And so for this video, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite Regina King roles. We're going to talk about the Boondocks, Watchmen, and then finally I'll do a short review of One Night in Miami. Starting with the Boondocks, I was introduced to the Boondocks from a friend of mine when I was in elementary school. I had known about the comic strip, but I didn't know anything about the animated series. And honestly, it was one of those shows that I probably would not have been allowed to watch had my parents or my grandparents known what I was watching at the time. But through the Boondocks, I was exposed to humor and satire that felt relevant to me. It used characters that felt familiar to me and talked about situations and scenarios that wasn't always talked about on television. Since the show has been dropped on HBO Max, I've been rewatching it almost as much as I can. And there were so many just jokes and parodies and references that I didn't even get when I was watching it before that make the show and the humor just so much better and so much more grounded. The show features a cast full of Black Hollywood legends like Cedric Yarborough, Cat Williams, Mos Def, Snoop Dogg, Samuel L. Jackson, the late Charlie Murphy, the late John Witherspoon, and of course Regina King as the two main characters, Huey and Riley Freeman. The depiction of Huey and Riley were like two sides of the same coin. The more mainstream Black culture, and then the more seldom seen Black revolutionary culture and Black intellectual culture. 16 years later, and there haven't been many more characters as skillfully crafted or as well portrayed as Huey and Riley Freeman were in the Boondocks. And there hasn't been as many depictions of so many aspects of Black life as with the Boondocks, which is why it's still to this day one of my favorite animated shows, one of my favorite shows ever. And then we have Watchmen. HBO's Watchmen was a pleasant surprise of 2019. When I first heard that HBO was doing a miniseries adaptation of Watchmen with Damon Lindelof, my first question was, why? But Regina King, Lindelof, and the entire cast and crew, they showed us why. Watchmen used the visual language of comic books to show us a story of the past, present, and future, and a story about how knowing your history can save you from repeating it. Regina King led the series with strength and determination, and she played the superhero part so well that it's like she's been in this universe for decades already. Every single episode was planned and executed to the T, but some of my favorites are Episode 1, It's Summer and We're Running Out of Ice, Episode 6, This Extraordinary Being, and Episode 8, A God Walks Into a Bar. The miniseries depicted stories of Black history and Black futurism, as well as Black people as these very powerful heroes. And finally, One Night in Miami, Regina King's feature film directorial debut. She directed for television on her show Southland before, but this was her first time directing a film. And I hope it's not her last, because Regina Regina's direction brought a humanity to the real lives that inspired the film. The film features black legends Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown. However, the film's depiction of these characters is more intimate than ever before. The film mentions personal things like Malcolm X's love for photography, Sam Cooke's desire to fix the music industry, Ali's appreciation for Islam, and Jim Brown's hesitation about starting a career in Hollywood. Altogether, the film shows how some of the earliest black celebrities struggle with the idea of celebrity amidst the never-ending struggle for civil rights. All of these characters were titans in their respective industries, but they were all transitioning into new industries and new periods of their lives. It was inspiring to see that these figures had their own doubts and their own obstacles becoming who they wanted to be. And they didn't overcome these obstacles alone. They overcame these obstacles together by trusting each other and challenging each other. Yes, there was some conflicts between the men, but they were there for each other as friends at the end of the day. The way that Regina King directed this film helps us relate to these characters. It's as if we were looking at them from eye to eye through this fourth wall. Film features great dialogue, great performances, and overall great direction, making it a great film. And yeah, that's going to be it. It's a little short, but that is my Black History Month dedication to Regina King. I don't have the time to go over all of her great performances and contributions because she has so many, but these are some of the highlights and times that Regina's artistry has inspired my own. And I just want to say that I hope to be inspired by her many more times in the future. So yeah, that's going to be it. Another Black History Month video, another tribute to a figure of Black history. And there's so many more, guys, and I know I just do this one video for one person one time a year, but there are so many people to celebrate that, hey, go out, celebrate your local Black legends, people you know, people you've heard of. Give them their flowers, mention them on Twitter, tell them how they've inspired you and how they motivated you to be the person you are today, because that's what this is. So guys, tell me how you feel about Regina King or Dwayne McDuffie, or suggest some more Black history figures that I can do videos of in the future. Tell me if you feel me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out. So is that Gotham? That was actually a really nice shot.
The god is dead.
Sheesh. Amazon? Yeah, there's a scale of destruction in this thing.